Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking into the story of Zara Dar.
Zara Dar.
Yeah.
Right.
And Zara's story is fascinating because it really makes you think about, career paths in this day and age. And she, kind of made a really radical shift.
Yeah, definitely a big change.
Yeah, she left a PhD program to become an OnlyFans model.
Wow.
And
what a change.
Yeah, and we've got, a bunch of articles and social media posts and all kinds of things about her. And so what we're going to try to do today is try to figure out, what led her to this point.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting to sort of examine, like, the decision-making process that goes into something like that.
So to kind of set the stage, Zara, was really deeply, deeply embedded in STEM. She was a PhD student.
I mean, that's serious commitment right there. A PhD program, that's not messing around.
No, it's not messing around at all.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, she had a very popular YouTube channel where she was actually teaching complex topics.
Interesting.
Like machine learning and neural networks.
So she was in it.
Yeah,
she was in that world.
Yeah. So to think that, she was doing all that, and then to decide to kind of go in such a different direction is really pretty remarkable.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah. So I guess, the first question would be, what led her to this point?
What prompted the change?
Yeah, what happened?
Right.
And it seems like one of the main things was a disillusionment with academia.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to, There's a lot of,
Yeah, and she even said, in some of her posts that, a lot of these brilliant people that she knew were kind of trapped in these jobs that they didn't really enjoy.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and working these long hours for very little recognition or stability.
Oh, so it's not even like it was, a super lucrative, stable, option for them.
And that resonates, with so many people these days.
Totally.
Like this feeling of being stuck.
Yeah, like you're in a system that doesn't really value your contributions.
Exactly.
You're kind of just a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
And so did she say anything specific about, challenges?
Yeah, did she give any specifics?
Yeah, what were the things that really pushed her away?
Yeah, I mean, was it, just the lack of recognition, or were there, other things too?
Yeah, was there something specific about academia that she didn't like?
Well, she specifically mentioned limited job security.
Oh, that's a big one.
And the financial instability.
Oh, yeah, that's tough.
That comes with an academic career path.
Especially when you think about how long you're in school.
Exactly.
Years and years and years.
Sometimes decades.
Yeah, and then you come out...
Saddled with debt.
Yeah, you're saddled with, maybe $100,000 in debt.
Yeah.
And then you're like...
And the job market's not great.
Yeah, and then you're competing with, tons of other people.
For very few positions.
For a handful of positions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, where Zara's story, I think, takes this really unexpected turn.
This is where it gets juicy.
Yeah, because so she's pursuing her PhD.
Right.
And then she decides to start creating content on OnlyFans.
Okay, OnlyFans.
And she did it, initially just to supplement her income.
So like a side hustle.
Yeah, like
well, she was in school.
Yeah, like a side hustle.
Yeah.
Just to,
make ends meet.
Yeah, make ends meet.
Yeah. But it quickly exceeded her financial expectations.
I mean, I think that's the dream, right?
Yeah.
For a side hustle to kind of take off like that.
But this one really took off.
So how much are we talking?
Well, she ended up earning over $1 million on the platform.
$1 million.
Ooh, wow.
Which allowed her to bypass student loans altogether.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Which, I mean, that must be such a relief.
Oh, I can only imagine. I mean, that's something that so many academics struggle with.
Oh, for years.
Years and years and years. And
so she was able to just skip that whole thing.
Yeah, just skip that whole thing.
Wow.
That's incredible. I mean,
that's life.
$1 million for somebody, who is just starting out in their career.
Right.
Is an incredible amount of money.
That's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, she basically stumbled onto a gold mine.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
Good for her. But what I think is really remarkable is that she wasn't just spending this money.
Right.
She was really smart with it.
Oh, okay. So she was investing.
She was investing a portion of it.
Good.
Which I just think shows
Just heart. Yeah, very
a
strong.
real forward-thinking approach to her newfound wealth.
Not just blowing it all on,
No,
fancy cars and stuff.
not at all. No.
That's good.
And she was able to do some really, really incredible things for her family
Oh, okay.
with this money.
So she was using it to help others as well.
Yeah, I mean, she paid off their mortgage,
Wow.
which I just, I think that speaks volumes about her.
Generosity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her desire to kind of share her success with those closest to her.
That's wonderful.
It's really remarkable,
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think it really underscores just how transformative her financial success has been.
Right.
Not just for herself,
It ripples outward.
but for her entire family.
Yeah, it affects everyone around her.
Yeah, and she was also able to purchase a car
Nice.
and is now planning to buy a house.
Wow, so she's
So these are, significant milestones.
major milestone.
Yeah, these are major milestones
Yeah.
that really highlight the level of financial independence that she's achieved.
And she's how old is she?
Well, she's still relatively young.
So she's accomplished all of this
Yeah.
at a young age.
At a young age.
Wow.
And I think
that makes you think about what
it really challenges that conventional timeline.
about success,
Yeah.
Like there's this sort of idea that, you have to work your way up the ladder.
You gotta grind. You gotta grind.
You gotta grind for years and years.
For years.
And then maybe when you're like 50 or 60, you can
Yeah.
you can finally enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You can finally.
But she's kind of proving that that's not necessarily the case. You can
You can achieve these things
keep these things
much earlier
Yeah.
if you kind of think outside the box.
If you're willing to
Yeah.
take some risks
If you're willing to take risks. Yeah.
and be unconventional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really makes you wonder, though,
Yeah.
was this purely a financial decision for Zara?
Right, like what else was going on
Okay.
besides the money? Like
Yeah.
was it just about
Yeah.
getting that financial security, or was there something else
Yeah.
that was motivating her?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting you say that because it's not like she was coming from a place where she wasn't already,
Right.
finding some level of, fulfillment and success
Yeah.
because she had, built this YouTube presence as a STEM educator.
Right, she had a following. She
Yeah.
was doing well.
She had a significant following, and she was known for being able to explain these complex topics.
Right. Like the machine learning and
Yeah, machine learning and neural networks.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a way that was accessible.
To a wider audience.
Yeah, to a wider audience.
Yeah.
So
So clearly she had some
yeah, and it makes you wonder, okay,
talent
if
as a communicator.
if she was already finding, that success and that fulfillment there,
Right.
what prompted her to
To make such a shift.
make such a big change?
Yeah. Like what was the catalyst?
Yeah, and that's a
That's
really
a-
great question.
I don't know if we had
And one that I don't know if the sources explicitly
a clear answer to that.
Yes,
Yeah. But we can speculate.
maybe we can speculate a bit
Yeah.
based on kind of what we know about her motivations.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, she definitely said that, she wanted freedom and control over her work,
Right.
which is something that she felt like she wasn't getting in academia.
That's
So, maybe it's possible that she was
Yeah, maybe she was.
encountering similar limitations
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
the YouTube ecosystem.
Yeah, you talk about
I mean, think about it. Like
algorithm changes.
Yeah, algorithm changes. The pressure to constantly be
Right. Always got to be putting out content.
producing new content, yeah.
Always got to be.
And maybe even censorship. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, who knows what's...
That could definitely be a
Yeah,
factor.
or maybe she even just felt constrained by the format itself.
Right.
Like, she obviously is brilliant.
Yeah.
And to have to kind of simplify these complex topics
Right.
for a general audience.
It might have felt limiting.
Yeah, it may have felt a little bit
Yeah.
limiting.
Yeah, like she couldn't really
Yeah.
dive as deep as she wanted to.
Have it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, it's worth pointing out that
Yeah.
OnlyFans does give you a level of creative control and financial independence
That's hard.
that you just
Yeah, that's hard to match.
can't find anywhere else. Really?
I mean, you're essentially
Yeah.
you're setting your own prices.
Yeah.
You're interacting directly with your fans.
Right.
You're building a business on your own terms.
It's It's your own little empire.
Yeah, it's a very, very different model.
It's a different...
And than the traditional content creation model.
Yeah.
And it's a model that I think is resonating with a growing number of people.
Oh, right.
Like we're seeing this trend across, all these different platforms where individuals are just kind of saying, you know what, I'm going to forget the traditional
career path.
Forget the traditional career path. I'm going to forge my own path.
I'm going to find my own way.
I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole definition of career is being rewritten right before our eyes.
It really is.
Yeah, people are prioritizing flexibility,
right,
autonomy, the ability to monetize their passions directly.
Yeah, you don't have to work for someone else.
Yeah, it's the rise of the creator economy.
Yeah, you can be your own boss.
Set your own hours.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating phenomenon.
It is. It's very cool.
Because it really empowers individuals to, build their own brands, connect with their audiences, generate income in ways that weren't even possible a few years ago. Even a decade ago.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a brand new thing.
Yeah.
And Zara's story, I think, is a perfect example of this.
She went for it.
She took a risk.
Yeah.
She stepped outside the box.
Yeah.
Created her own path.
Absolutely.
But we have to, I think, acknowledge that, her choice has also generated some controversy.
Right. I mean, that's kind of unavoidable.
Yeah.
When you're doing something that's unconventional.
It's anytime somebody challenges.
Right. Societal norms. Yeah.
Or expectations.
That's going to be pushback.
There's going to be pushback.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, when it comes to something like OnlyFans.
Right. Which
still, I think, carries
a
certain stigma.
Yeah. It's
I mean, some people might see her move as, a betrayal of her intellectual potential.
Right.
Or a step down from her previous career path.
Like she's wasting her talents.
Yeah, wasting her talents. Like she's not living up to her full potential.
Yeah, I mean, I can see.
And I think
why people might have that reaction.
Yeah, I think those reactions are understandable.
Yeah.
Because, there are these deeply ingrained societal attitudes towards sex work and the type of content that's often associated with platforms like OnlyFans.
Right.
So it's a complex issue.
Very complex issue.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember that, we're not here to judge or endorse anyone's choices.
Right.
Our goal is...
You're just here to...
Is to just, explore Zara's story and kind of see what it tells us about this evolving landscape of work and success in the digital age.
What this says about, where we're at as a society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not about, the morality of OnlyFans or whether her choice was right or wrong.
Right. It's not about that.
Understanding the factors that
led her there.
Led her to this point.
Yeah.
And what her experience...
And what we can learn.
Can teach us about.
From that.
Yeah. About the choices that individuals are making.
Yeah.
In today's world.
In the world that we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe even prompt us to question our own assumptions.
Right. Like what?
About work, success, and what it means.
Road to success.
To live a fulfilling life.
Even saying, like, do we have...
Yeah, exactly.
The definition, right?
And so, while Zara's decision to pursue OnlyFans was undoubtedly driven, in part by her desire for financial freedom.
Sure.
She also talked about the importance of personal fulfillment.
Right. She wanted it to be more than just the money.
Yeah, she wanted to be in control of her own destiny.
Yeah.
To work on projects that she was passionate about.
Right.
And to create a life that was aligned with her values.
Right. Like she had
her own vision.
That's something we can all relate to.
Totally.
Regardless of, our chosen profession. Everyone wants to find meaning in their work.
Yeah, that desire to find meaning in our work.
Feel a sense of purpose.
To feel a sense of purpose, yeah. To have the autonomy to shape our own careers.
Right. Not just be told what to do.
Not be told what to do, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think it's also worth acknowledging that, her path wasn't without its challenges.
Right. I mean, it's not all sunshine and roses.
No, and to make such a drastic career change, especially one that involves a platform like OnlyFans, would likely come with its own set of emotional and social hurdles.
Yeah, I mean, just think about, like, the conversations.
Yeah, do you think she faced any backlash?
Oh, for sure.
From
family, friends, former colleagues.
I mean, even if it wasn't like overt negativity.
Yeah, even if there might have been.
Yeah, just those subtle...
like little shifts in relationship.
Yeah, or a sense of disconnect from people.
Or just people not really getting it.
Not getting it, yeah. And that's a really important point because, you make this bold move.
Right.
And sometimes it can lead to a sense of isolation.
Yeah.
Especially if you're surrounded by people who are
kind of, more traditional.
When they're thinking.
Thinking,
yeah.
And I think also you have to consider the mental and emotional toll.
Right.
Of working.
I think in a field that's so stigmatized
and misunderstood.
And just, like there's a lot of...
I mean, there's a lot of pressure and scrutiny. That comes with being an OnlyFans creator.
Yeah, you're putting yourself out there.
In
a very
public way. And you're opening yourself up to potential criticism and judgment.
Right. And
that can be
really tough.
Yeah. That can be incredibly challenging, even for somebody as confident and successful as Zara.
Right.
So I think, while she's achieved this financial freedom and this ability to work on her own terms, there might have been hidden costs or sacrifices along the way.
Trade-offs.
Yeah, there's always trade-offs.
There's always,
And I think, as we kind of...
the other side of the coin.
Yeah, the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
As we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think it's worth reiterating that Zara's story is just one example of a much larger trend.
Right. This is something that's happening.
Yeah, this is all over the place. Yeah, this is kind of
a microcosm.
Yeah, microcosm of
larger trend.
Yeah, the changing nature of work and success in the digital age.
Right.
The rise idea of...
Yeah, the rise of the creator economy.
Yeah, the creator economy.
The desire for greater autonomy.
Right.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
The willingness to challenge these traditional career paths.
Like people are waking up.
Yeah, people are waking up.
And realizing that
maybe the old way isn't the only way.
And it'll be interesting to see how these trends continue to evolve.
Yeah.
In the years to come.
Curious to see where it goes.
But before we kind of delve into those broader implications, let's take a moment to consider Zara's story from a slightly different angle.
Okay, I like it. I like where this is going.
All right. So we've talked a lot about the financial aspects of her decision, and her desire for creative control, But what about her background in STEM?
Okay, yeah.
Like, how do you think that?
Yeah, might have shaped her worldview.
Yeah.
And kind of influenced her choices.
I mean, I think STEM fields tend to attract people who are, very analytical, problem-solving oriented, maybe even a bit unconventional.
Right. They like to...
in their thinking.
Challenge assumptions, think critically, find innovative solutions.
Exactly.
To these problems.
It's all about, thinking outside the box.
And the skills, highly transferable.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
even to fields that seem, completely different from science or technology.
Yeah, I mean, those are skills that you can apply doing anything.
Yeah, so maybe her STEM background kind of gave her that confidence.
Right, that foundation.
Yeah, to approach her career in this very non-traditional way.
Like she had the tools to think differently.
Yeah, and to not be afraid.
Right.
To kind of step outside.
To break the mold.
Of those, to break the mold.
Yeah.
Of those expectations.
Yeah, and maybe she even applied, some of those analytical skills.
I was just thinking that.
To her OnlyFans business.
Yeah, like figuring out how to optimize her content.
Right, like how to maximize an audience.
Her earnings.
And maximize her earnings.
Yeah.
Like there's a...
It's a business.
Yeah, it's a business today.
It's a business.
Yeah.
And I don't think people always realize
that
there's a lot more to it.
It's not just about being attractive.
Right. Yeah, it's there's a lot more going on behind the scenes.
There's a lot of
strategy involved.
Yeah.
You got to know how to
business acumen, marketing savvy.
Market yourself.
Yeah, a deep understanding of your audience.
Oh, yeah, you got to understand who you're talking to. And those are
who you're trying to reach.
Skills that Zara, likely developed during her time in STEM.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So while it might seem,
right,
like a really drastic shift
on the surface.
Yeah, on the surface.
Yeah.
There might be these deeper connections.
Right. There might be
between her academic background and her current career path.
Threads that connect the two.
Yeah. And it's a reminder that our experiences and knowledge can shape us in ways that we don't always expect.
Right. You never know.
And that sometimes the most unconventional paths can lead to the most fulfilling outcomes.
The best outcomes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think
Zara's story,
while unique.
Right. It is unique.
In many ways, also speaks to some universal truths.
Yeah, I think so too.
About the human experience.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, we all want to, feel like we have a purpose.
Right.
We're contributing something to the world.
To make a meaningful contribution.
To difference, yeah.
Yeah.
And to create a life that's true to ourselves.
That's aligned with our values.
That's aligned with our values, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means...
challenging the status quo.
Yeah, taking risks.
Yeah.
Forging your own path.
Yeah. And it's often...
And that's often where you...
Yeah, in those moments of courage and self-belief that we discover our true potential.
Exactly.
And I think Zara's story is a testament to that.
She really...
She dared to dream big.
Went for it.
She dared to, break free from those conventional expectations.
She didn't let anyone tell her what she could and couldn't do.
And she created this life that brought her both, financial freedom and personal fulfillment.
And that's the dream, right?
That's the dream.
To have both of those things.
Yeah, and her path, might not be for everyone.
Of course.
But her story, I think, can inspire all of us.
It can inspire us to
question our own assumptions.
Yeah, to think about.
To explore those.
What we really want.
Yeah, to explore alternative possibilities.
Yeah.
And to really pursue our own.
Yeah, what is success?
Definitions.
As of success. To you.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Zara Dar's fascinating journey.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
Yeah, from PhD student to OnlyFans model.
Yeah.
Let's leave our listeners with one final thought-provoking question.
I'm ready.
Okay. So
hit me.
Zara's story highlights this growing trend of individuals seeking alternative paths to success.
Yeah, it's not just her.
It prompts us to think about, the changing nature of work.
Right.
The rise of the creator economy and this pursuit
of both
financial freedom.
Financial and personal.
And personal fulfillment.
Yeah.
So we ask you, dear listener.
Yes.
What does Zara's story make you think about your own aspirations and priorities?
That's a good one.
And how do you define success in a world that is constantly changing?
That's a question that I think everyone needs to ask themselves.
Yeah, and there's no, right or wrong answer.
Right.
It's about finding what truly resonates with you.
Yeah, what matters to you.
And creating a life that feels authentic and meaningful.
Find your truth.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely.